this. When I started getting involved in conscious thought, this was circa 84, 85. A lot of the elders used to share with us that there was a time in America where if you look like us, if you came from a melanated country, if you came from Africa, if you came from Trinidad and Tobago, if you came from Jamaica, if you came from Cuba, if you were black from Cuba, you know what I'm saying, Dominican Republic, Jamaica, then they weren't really letting you in the United States of America. And then during the civil rights movement, some of the benefits of the civil rights movement is we really pressured the government officials to allow people who were us, our family, from other parts of the globe to come into the great United States. Well, while we thought we were fighting for the benefit of everybody, civil rights, our elders taught me during that time period that one of the unfortunate aspects of that movement to push policy to make sure that it was equity in immigration is it allowed people who came from these other countries to really think that coming into this country placed them ahead of us. So while we were fighting for the rights for our immigrant families to come here to our country, when they came over, they didn't necessarily jump involved in the rights. They didn't get involved in the civil rights and the black empowerment movements as heavily. To the larger degree they did, because they were coming from poor countries with fewer opportunities. We fought for them to get here. They get here and they just went straight for the opportunity while we're still reeling from the scars and the battering that we took trying to make a way for everybody else. So our elders shared with me during 1984, 1985, 86, really heavily in the 90s, that there were jobs that were traditionally set up for blacks in America, right? And then there were jobs in America that Chinese people traditionally got. There was a long time where when the Chinese immigrated here to the United States of America, that they didn't allow them to teach. They didn't allow them to have government jobs. So they were really pressured into having restaurants and service industry like laundromats and other service industry type things. When the Irish came here, the Irish were kind of pigeonholed into certain jobs, which were service-based at first. And then when the Irish became white, then they were allowed to work in some of the service-based protection, the enforcement arm of evil supremacy, the police department, the fire department. And so it's interesting that most of the immigrant groups who have come to the United States of America have gotten their traditional jobs. So if you say right now, what's a job for Ethiopian, or what's a job for an Arab or Arabian person, right? You're thinking 7-Eleven. You're thinking hotels, right? If you say, what's a traditional job for a Chinese person in the United States of America? You're thinking food restaurants. You're thinking laundromats. And there was a time that the black jobs that we were able to have access to, were those that dealt with farming, that dealt with labor. We were breaking the ground so we can make the highways. There's this lie that goes around that the Japanese built the rail stations, the train station process here in America. It was first, the melanated, the blacks, the African Americans, the indigenous, the Indians that look like us, and whatever term you want to rock with. It was us that built them. And then the Japanese who immigrated here finished them. So there's always been an interesting point where we could say that there were traditional jobs, and there were traditional jobs for us. And then we started pushing our way through the civil rights movement, through some other movements, into saying, hey, federal government, you can't keep us out of these jobs because of our race. Right. So there was a traditional black job. And it's interesting that Trump would pick up on that old information. Because, like you were saying, John, I think he's trying to pander to us.
I wonder if I can pick up where that left off